Hey guys, Prules here, and today I want to talk a little bit about the result of the Close Quarters DLC now that it's been out for a fair amount of time, and I've got a strong round of Grand Bazaar Conquest playing in the background here. I think I went something crazy like 48-1 before I finally got kicked, so hopefully you guys enjoy that. I figured Close Quarters wouldn't be the most popular piece of content because a large amount of old BF fans know that what DICE does best with the Battlefield series is large maps that ask for a lot of coordination and emphasis on team play while mixing in the aspects of ground armor and air support. But frankly, even though I knew these things were missing, the DLC still somehow managed to not meet my expectations at all. If we look back, the DLC introduced no new content aside from the smaller sized maps and guns, and the idea that weapons are exclusive for people with the DLC is just ridiculous in my opinion, because it is a game based around people shooting guns, so naturally I feel like everyone should have access to those guns. And if, they want players to be competitive, they all need access to the same guns. Like, could you imagine if a player involved with esports had to buy the DLC because there was a particularly powerful weapon that he would need to stay on top? I mean, not even Call of Duty has DLC specific guns if I recall correctly, and that series has been big on DLC for many years now. Anyways, I think one of the most important things I'm going to talk about is the game types, and we'll start with Conquest Domination, which is pretty much Conquest at the core, but with faster flag captures and almost no reward for defending. And what I find is that pretty much it becomes a flag cap race where the team with the best kill death ratio will probably win anyways every time. And don't get me wrong, I know that not everyone plays Conquest Domination by rushing from flag to flag, but in a pub I will almost never see people that will defend a flag, so it feels futile when I'm there standing on my own, about to engage in a firefight with 3 or 4 enemies that are rushing in. And I'm not surprised at all, because if you get taken down as a defender, chances are your teammates have already gone to another part of the map, and you can't spawn on these points, so now that's just a lost cause. At first I thought, well, okay, so you can only spawn on your squad, but that will actually emphasize the same, if not more, teamwork than the other game modes. And the main problem with this now is that the maps are designed in such a funky way where, in my opinion at least, there are just too many routes to go through, so even if your squad progresses well towards the next flag, someone can just take out a wall with an explosive and rail you from behind. And on paper that sounds cool, you can create your own path in these maps and make the map a little more interesting, but what really happens is that it creates this clusterfuck where players are constantly popping behind each other, and that deteriorates a huge aspect of strategy, considering you can only focus on so many flanks at one time as a human being. And this brings us to Gunmaster. Again, it sounds really awesome on paper, but it shows a colossal misunderstanding on DICE's part on how to make that game mode fun. And first off, you are on teams. The reason why many games feature this similar game type as a free-for-all game type is because there's only one winner, so why fight along teammates at all? It's not innovative, and in my own opinion, it's just incorrectly done that way. But what I find to be an even bigger problem is the fact that servers cannot choose the weapons and loadouts themselves. Many of the weapon setups are just plain fucking silly, like having a gun like the LSAT LMG with a 3.4 times zoom on close quarters maps, or the L86A2 LMG, which has a 4 times scope, or a bolt action sniper rifle, or a Mark 3A1 shotgun, I believe, the auto shotgun with frag rounds. If you were caught using pretty much any of these setups on the close quarters maps, then you would get shut down by most players. What's even more silly is that you can't even play Gunmaster outside of the DLC maps, so if you want to use some of these weapons that are clearly more outfitted for more dynamic maps, then you are just shit out of luck. So in my opinion, we are given 2 extremely lackluster game modes where only one of them even has any replayability at all. And DICE could have implemented, a Rush-esque game mode onto the DLC pretty easily, like a squad rush type thing. But they didn't, deliver anything like that with the content. And now we have a DLC that is essentially a mindless grindfest in my eyes, so it's no wonder people got bored of it fast. And I find it funny because I was pretty worried about this DLC splitting up the community, but now what I realize is that most players are tired of close quarters anyways, and it looks like we're all back to where it started, which is kind of, you know, not supposed to be the point of this DLC. It's supposed to provide players an alternate experience that you can go back to, but like, I find myself sticking to the vanilla game modes and maps. And so it's a shame that we only have 2 very refined game modes to choose from, and in my opinion, that being Conquest and Rush. And I mean, TDM is okay for unlocks and warming up, but then again, it's pretty hard to fuck it up. And, you know, this involved no innovation on DICE's part. It's just, you know, the classic TDM. So, hopefully they can deliver some DLC that will last a lot longer this September when they come out with Armored Kill. And, I think that's just about all I can go on with this close quarter stuff. So, I would appreciate it if you guys left your perspective in the comments, and I'll see you all next time.